Green screens have been around for quite a while and has been used by content creators and streamers for many different reasons. But today I'm actually going to be showing you 5 tips on how to get the most out of your green screen. So let's get into it. Now before we get into today's video, just a reminder that I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoon if you have any questions. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Let's jump into today's video. And number 1 is you should have your lights up high. Now the reason you want to have your lights up high is because you don't want to actually cast shadows on your green screen. So let's say you have a green screen just behind you. If your lights are really low, you can actually cast your own shadow onto the green screen, creating inconsistencies in the green or blue or whatever color you have on your green screen. And that could actually affect the key, which can make either the key not key out as well, or you have to start adding different things and trying to mask out different colors of keys. And if you can just put your lights up higher, of course that's a whole lot easier. Now another little tip is to actually have 2 different lights to actually light yourself a little bit more evenly as well. So I would say at least have 2 lights, even if it's just a fill light on the one side, at least have 2 to more evenly light yourself, and that way kind of separating yourself better from the background as well. Now of course if you don't have 2 lights, you only have one ring light dead in the center will also help, because ring lights are made to illuminate your face evenly. That could also help illuminate you more and separate you from the background as well. So if you don't have 2 lights, maybe just one big ring light in front of you will also do the job. Now another little trick is to actually have rim lights or edge lights, which are just the lights behind you, and that way you can actually separate yourself even more from the background, and it can also help with key spill. Now number 2 is to remove all wrinkles and to light the green screen evenly. Now this one actually ties in really well with the first one, and that is to remove all wrinkles, as this can actually create inconsistencies once again in your green screen, making it different shades and different hues of green. And in your program, if you have different hues of green and different shades, that can actually help reduce the effectiveness of the key, and that could actually leave spills either on the edge of yourself, or it can actually create further problems by not really keying out everything that it should. Now you can also try and have a few lights behind you that actually shine up against the green screen, or they can be anywhere else actually, but just illuminate the green screen, as that can help get a more even tone and a more even hue in your green screen, making it easier to actually key out and make you look better when you're keyed out. Now tip number 3 is to create some distance between you and your green screen. Now this will actually help with more than one thing. Number 1, it will help with casting shadows, because the further you are from the green screen, the harder it is actually going to be to actually cast shadows on your green screen. Number 2 is it creates space for you to actually place lights to actually illuminate your green screen more evenly. And number 3, it will help actually reduce the bleed onto yourself. Now all green screen bleed is that little edge of green or blue, whatever color you have your green screen, that doesn't really get keyed out really well, because it actually reflects back onto you due to light reflecting off of the green screen, and actually leaving this little shade or green or blue whatever on the edge of you, and that's green screen bleed. More places you can actually get green screen bleed is if you have very light walls next to you. So let's say you're in a very tiny space, your green screen can actually reflect off of the green screen onto a light wall. Let's say you have a white wall next to you, and also back onto you, so you can have green screen bleed onto yourself by reflecting off of a wall. And one way you can actually reduce that is to make your walls either darker to the side, or just placing some sort of darker fabric or anything, just to reduce that bleed from the sides as well. Tip number 4 is to actually use a color green screen that you don't have a lot of in your scenes. So let's say you have a lot of green t-shirts, you have a lot of tattoos with green in them, you have a lot of microphones or stuff that you show on screen that are green. Do not use a green screen. Rather go for something like a blue or a red, anything else that you don't have a lot of color of in your scenes normally. Now the reason you want to do this is because the fact that if you have a green t-shirt on and you have a green screen, your t-shirt is going to get keyed out as well, meaning you're just gonna have this floating head with arms that are actually gonna be showing up. And that's not gonna look good unless you're actually trying to just be a head with floating arms. In that case, do it. Otherwise, if you don't want that look, rather go for a different color screen behind you, as that can help you not key out your own t-shirts, logos on your t-shirts, mics, whatever you have that you might show a lot on the screen. Now, just as a little added thing, if you're choosing a color for your green screen, pick something bright, pick something that is very colorful. That way you have a bigger contrast between you and the green screen, which is going to make it easier for you to get keyed out, and it's also going to make for a much cleaner key. Number 5 is match the color of your scene. Now, one thing I see a lot is people adding themselves into rooms or into different scenarios, and the one thing that they all, or most of them, tend to forget is to actually light yourself as if you were in that scene. Now, what a lot of people do is they would add themselves into a cool looking room with a lot of blue, purple, red lights all around them, when in fact none of those lights are actually hitting them, making them look weird in that entire scene, really. Another thing is having a bright room and not actually brightly illuminating yourself. Then you kind of look like you're just dull and faded into this bright scene. And even vice versa, if the room is very dull and you are very bright, it also seems to look a little off. Now, another added trick if you want to do this and you actually color yourself correctly to the scene, I would say blur the scene behind you a little, giving it that little bokeh blur effect behind you, making it look more realistic and more like you're using DSLR or a high-end mirrorless camera instead of having a webcam, when in fact you could actually be using a webcam. And if you don't know what I mean with background blur, is if you move your hand closer to a camera, as you can see, the scene behind me blurs out, and that is kind of the bokeh, and that separates you more from the background. So if you're doing a scene like that and you have something in the back that you want to blur out a little, it will just make your scene look a little bit more high-end. Now, if you've done all of the above and you're still not getting that perfect key, tip number 6 is kind of a bonus one, and that is to select different colors and different shades of the same color. Now, with most editing software or streaming software, you have the ability to actually select a color for your key, and in there all you're going to do is you're going to add multiple layers of that same key but different shades of that same color. Now, I would suggest definitely using the eyedrop picker and picking all of the different shades instead of just guessing what shades you have. Go in, see what's not keyed out, go back in, select that color until you have everything keyed out and you have a perfect key. Now, of course, this is not going to give you as clean of a key as you would by following all of the above steps, but if you can't do all of the above steps and this is your only option, definitely try it out, as this could actually be a much cleaner key than just selecting one color. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, please leave a like, subscribe, and also if you have any questions regarding green screens, leave it down in the comment section below. Or if you want to ask me live, I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoon. Link to that down in the description below. Hope to see you guys there, and until next time, cheers.